Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 5. How is everybody doing? How are you doing, Chef Jonathan? Having fun?
I'm fun.
Fun. Thanks. How about you, Jonathan? Chef Jonathan? Fun?
I'm doing awesome.
Awesome. Awesome. And this week we get to go over, well, I say it every week. Each week is my favorite topic, but we get to go over one of my favorite topics, which is marketing. And I love it because once you actually start doing it, you realize how everything is a marketable moment, especially for your business. You go out to a coffee shop, you're wearing something with a fancy logo on it, boom, that's marketing. I used to go to Sam's Club and people would be like, oh, you having a big party? And I would say, no, I'm not having a big party. I run a B&B. Here's a brochure. Boom, marketing right there. Having the brochure is just in my purse. So it's a great week. It's one of my favorites because there are so many possibilities for you guys out there. But before we get into the awesome possibilities, let's check out everything that you guys need to focus on for this week, such as your week 5 assignments. That's going to be due on Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time, as always. We also have a discussion this week. That discussion is due on Saturday with 2 peer responses due on Tuesday. And I want it to be more than I agree or I disagree. You have to add to the conversation. And just saying I agree does not add anything to the conversation. So get those full points in by doing it on time and by adding to the conversation with your peer responses. And then your late 4 submissions, those are due tonight. If you did not do the budget, that is due tonight as for late points. And your makeup assignments. All makeup assignments are due by Tuesday. So start now, get them in, because remember, as I say every time now, this is the last time this class will ever be offered. So be on top of everything and plan ahead and submit your makeup assignments before Tuesday, because you want Chef Jonathan to be able to grade them and give you feedback so you can make adjustments to get that 100. So how was everything looking for assignments for this past week, Chef?
So I really love seeing all the creative solutions everybody comes up with for these budgeting problems, for these cost problems, because these numbers really tell a story. And without much context, these numbers can tell a different story to everybody. So the solutions can be really, really different from person to person, which is always fun to see. For instance, on Jamie's waffle wagon here, you'll notice she's not buying or selling any beverages. A lot of people notice this. And so I saw some really good solutions. For instance, since she doesn't have any room in her fridge, how about selling coffee and tea? You don't have to keep those things cold. So you don't need any fridge space. It's a lot easier to find warm storage space, dry storage space, than it is to find cold refrigerator storage space. So I really loved some of the solutions that I saw here. If you did struggle with this one a little bit, make sure to check out last week's live session, because we do talk about a lot of stuff there. Things like utilities and rent, really not being able to make meaningful impact on those because you've got contracts, because your utilities are gonna be fairly consistent. You'll be able to make small changes, but it's really on all 3 of these businesses. It doesn't eat up a chunk of your costs. It's definitely not the main cost problem on any of these businesses. So really try and focus on where those bigger problems are. Another quick one that I saw was not catching that there were 3 tabs on there. And with that, I have noticed that if you don't have your window maximized, sometimes those tabs don't show up very easily. So make sure you hit that button. Fill your screen with that page. It'll make those tabs easier to see and easier to get at. Again, can always resubmit if you got it in before the deadline, and I can regrade it. And so listen to your feedback. If you need to make corrections, resubmit it through the week 4 assignment page before Tuesday night at 11:59 p.m. If you haven't gotten it in yet, you do need to get it in before midnight tonight to have that extended resubmit period. So make sure to get it in before midnight tonight if you haven't already.
Yes, and remember for your makeup assignments, you see we have our knowledge checks. Remember, they're worth points. The discussion is right here, and your marketing assignment right here, and your makeup assignments, they're down here. You click on that. You say what week this is for. So you say week 1 submission, week 2 submission, and you just put that in here. Remember, only 1 assignment per makeup box. So do remember that, and it's right here. Do you guys have any questions about that right now? Any questions? Nope, nope. Well, and another thing, you guys remember that we are going to go on break here? Isn't that fun? We're going to have break here at the end of this class. We will have 2 weeks off. Isn't that exciting? Yes. 2 weeks off. Starting the, officially starting the 26th, going all the way to July 9th. Everybody will be back in class on July 10th. And with that being said, you also need to remember it is week 6, it's going to be next week, so start planning ahead because week 6 is a short week. It's always a short week for your core classes. So everything's going to be due on Sunday. The last day of class is Sunday. So remember to get your assignment in for week 6 by Sunday. Start planning ahead so that you can prepare for that assignment to be due on Sunday. I feel like doing that Sunday. So remember that week 6 is a short week. Get your makeup assignments in for week 5. And this week we get to do an awesome assignment about marketing. So when you guys think of marketing, what comes to mind for you guys? I see billboards in the chat. Yeah, what else do you guys think of? Flyers, good, good. What else? Social media, yes, yes. It's very good. And I'm actually really happy that Samantha, you said social media as a whole, because social media is considered one technique. That includes all of your Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube channel. All of that is considered social media. Writing back to reviews from TripAdvisor, Yelp, all of that is social media, which is why it's awesome you brought that up. And that is just one technique that you can use for this week's assignment. Am I right, Chef?
Absolutely. Ooh, newspaper is a good one too.
Ooh, somebody said newspaper. Yes, newspaper. And so the great thing about this week is that you have options. Remember, we're going to go right down here. You can use this handy dandy template that Chef Jonathan made for you guys, because Chef Jonathan is awesome. Super cool and super awesome. There's Chef Jonathan! Hear that? That you guys can go off of. Or you can write your answers right into the assignment where you typically put your link. This will, I think, be more helpful for you guys because you can see everything that you need, but this is here for you. Am I right, Chef? See, they're saying thank you in the chat.
I know, it's nice.
And those who are out in live session or archive worlds, this is where you give props to Chef Jonathan again. You send him emails and saying thank you. So, and then this week, you guys are all about your concept, and we're going to go over your assignment. Do you want to talk a little bit about the assignment first, Jeff?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to pull it up? I got it up here.
The template?
That or the assignment page itself.
Oh, yeah, sure. So on your assignment page, you're going to notice a few things. So you're going to download that template as Chef Rachel just demonstrated. And then you're going to see that your total annual revenue for your food business is $700,000. So we're giving you this number, and we do want you to use this to calculate your marketing budget for this assignment. So before you even do that, take a look at this template. And sorry, I was already writing down you guys' marketing techniques. But before you even get to that, big, huge first step, get your concept summary in here. This is worth 15% of your grade. So it's really important that you get this here. It also tells me what kind of a business you're marketing. You're going to market a catering company very differently than you're going to market a food truck, which is different than a personal chef business, which is different than a restaurant. All these concepts are you're going to want to approach marketing in a different way. That's why it's so important that I know what your concept summary is. It's also going to be more expensive to get, say, a billboard in LA than it is in Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska is pretty cheap for a billboard. LA, New York City, Miami, super expensive. You're going to go way over budget just with one billboard very quickly. So again, it's really important that I have all that information that you were working with in your week 1 concept summary. We're still looking for that same 1 to 3 sentences with your location, your type of operation, what kind of food you're going to be serving, hours and days of operation. These are all really important pieces of information for me to know. So first step, concept summary. And again, you can just copy and paste that from week 1. So it should be super easy. Then we get into this annual budget. And so if you take a look at this, your annual revenue or sales is $700,000. You want it to be 2% of your total revenue. So it actually says right here, you're going to multiply that 700,000 by 0.02. And that'll give you your marketing budget for the entire year. So that's going to be a really important piece of information, because then you're going to need to come up with 3 marketing techniques and make them all fit into that annual budget. So with those marketing techniques, you need to explain how you're going to use them and why this is best for your concept. Why are billboards going to be more effective for your concept than, say, newspaper or social media, flyers, anything else in the entire world that is marketing, which is almost anything. It really is only limited by your imagination. So definitely really important to say why you chose that marketing technique, and then talk about how you're going to use it effectively. So saying social media, I mean, that's cool. I like having a Facebook page. I don't check it very frequently, but I like having it. Doesn't mean it's an effective marketing technique, because I'm not a Facebook guy. So I'm probably not going to be very effective at marketing my business on Facebook. So how exactly are you going to go about utilizing social media to market your business? And you want to be as specific as you can be. I'm going to be on these specific platforms for this amount of time, 5 days a week, every single month of the entire year. That tells me how you're going to go about marketing your business with that platform, which is a huge piece of this assignment. So please definitely do that.
And remember, when you're looking at this, social media is not free. It is never free. You may think that it's free, but it's not, because your time is valuable and you need to pay yourself accordingly. And if you don't pay yourself and actually check and record how much time you spend doing social media, then how are you supposed to know what to pay somebody when you do get bigger and you do need help with your social media? How are you supposed to know how long it really took you to do it if you do not keep track of it and if you do not pay yourself for it? And if for those who still do not agree with that, for this assignment, you have to pay yourself for that social media. It's a requirement for the assignment. So you have to do it for the assignment. And your time is valuable, so pay yourself accordingly. Very, very valuable. Am I right, Jeff?
You are, and I am just bringing something up here. Here we go. So guys, if you're trying to do research on how much your time is going to cost your business, you basically already figured that out on your schedule on week 3 assignment. All you got to do is take your annual or your weekly salary rate and divide it by your weekly hours. So in this case, whoop, I have other things up. Look at that. Hang on. Hang on.
But this is where it's good to know, like, how many hours a day do you want to spend on social media? Do you want to spend 2 hours a week, every week, doing social media? Because then you have to do that 2 hours times 52, and then times that by how much you're paying yourself per hour. And that is your annual budget for your social media technique.
There we go. So in this case, I'm paying myself $20 an hour. So if I'm spending 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, that's 10 hours every week. That's a little over $200 a week for me to be on social media replying to everybody or posting pictures or whatever else it is that I'm doing. Then I need to multiply that by 52. And I'm making over $10,000 a year just paying attention to my social media. This is an enormous number, especially when you take a look at your annual marketing budget. That's going to be a huge chunk of that budget. So you want to really carefully consider how much time is really going into this, because that time that you're spending on social media, you're not paying attention to your business. At least not the way you should be. So you want to make sure you're really budgeting your time carefully and including that social media in that. So we just talked about that next aspect of it. How does this fit into your budget?
And remember, right here in the grading rubric, remember, your concept description, the one you created in week 1, and you're calculating that marketing budget accurately. So 2% of 700,000. What do you think that is? What is 2% of 700,000? So what do you guys think that's going to be? I see just a minute. So while everybody's thinking about it, those here and in the live session archive, remember, this is not a monthly budget. This is for the entire year. So what is that marketing budget for the entire year? Not monthly. It's the whole year. This is how much you get to spend. The whole year.
And it's 700,000 times 2, right?
Yep, that's 700,000 times 0.02.
That's what I messed up. I forgot my 0.02.
That's 2%. Remember that decimal place.
14.
14 what?
It just said 14, so it'd be 14. It'd be 1,000,000.4. I don't know.
You're on the right track, though.
You are. Gertrude? Marquetta? You guys? What do you think it's going to be? Anybody? So it's that 700,000, right? Times 0.02. And that's at 14,000. So is this your marketing budget for the entire year? Yes or no? I see, wow. Yes, it is. It is your marketing budget for the entire year. And while some of you guys may think that that's a small budget, I've worked with smaller. So this is where being creative is important. Am I right, Jeff?
You are. And conversely, some people may feel like that's a ton of money, which it would be if I just took it and put it in my bank account right now, today.
No, right? Wouldn't that be awesome?
But me as a person, very different from me as a business. As a business for an annual budget, that's a very small amount of money. So just something to keep in mind there. And remember what we just figured out, that if I'm working 2 hours a day on social media, I'm spending over $10,000 on social media just in my own labor without paying for any ads or anything. That's just my labor working on social media, responding to posts, posting, talking to previous guests, trying to get more people to come in. It takes a lot of your time, and that's most of your budget already gone with that one technique. And we still need to come up with 2 more, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. So then we figured out how much our budget is, and then we have the 3 marketing techniques. And it's at least 1 paragraph for each technique. So you need to say what the technique's going to be, show how each of the technique will fit into that 14,000, and explain how each technique will be used in detail and why it is the best fit for you and for your concept. Because remember, this is now the time to figure out how are you going to reach your target market? How are you going to get them into your place eating your food? Who is going to be coming? Remember in week 1, we talked about demographics. Now you know the demographics of your area, so you can narrow it down and figure out who you're going to market to. Because you cannot market to everyone. You just can't. Nobody has that much money. And perfect example would be McDonald's. McDonald's does not market to billionaires. They don't. That is not who their target market is. They will gladly take their money. If a billionaire, millionaire comes in and they want to eat McDonald's, they'll still take their money, but that's not who they're trying to get into their stores regularly year after year after year. And it's that trickle effect. So you go for your target market and then other people will hear of it and it'll trickle down. So they went for their target market and it trickled down and billionaires found out about it. And they're like, well, I want a cheeseburger with fries, you know, supersize me, that whole deal. Then another way to look at it too, you're a vegan restaurant. You are not going to try to market to a bunch of hunters, are you? You're just wasting your time. You're going to try to, you know, market your vegan establishment to somebody like Chef Tyson? No. Who's like meat, and more meat? No, you're not. You're going to go for who is going to come into your doors repeatedly. And this is where those techniques are going to help. The B&B, I knew that my target market, especially in the beginning when I took it over, was an older generation. So what do you think I would do to get that older generation into my B&B? How do you think I found them and marketed to them? Newspapers, perfect example, Samantha. Newspapers. They like reading, they still enjoy reading newspapers. My parents, they still get a newspaper every day. That's a great way to reach out to them. I would do AARP because I knew that they actually, you know, you can subscribe to that magazine, you can subscribe to their website. I would market through them. Those are ways that you can figure out who you're actually going to get into your doors, is that demographic, understanding your concept, knowing the type of food you want to do, the type of service you're going to give, and who you want to go into your establishment. So, somebody say, what type of establishment are we doing right now? I'm going to guess Samantha is going to give me what her concept is. Country. What type of country? It's country everywhere, even in New England. Southern style food truck, restaurants, diner. Look at you. Southern style diner. Where are you located? Where is this going to be located?
Cleves, Ohio.
Ohio. Yeah. So, Ohio. How many days a week are you going to be open?
7.
7 days. What are we doing? 5 a.m. to...
I am doing 7 a.m. until like 8 p.m.
7 to 8. All right. So, what do you guys think we should do for a technique?
I would say like maybe a sign outside and then flyers, newspapers.
So you said a sign. That's a great marketing. That's great. Am I right, Chef Jonathan? He's nodding yes.
Yes. I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, sure.
I'm typing.
Yes.
All right, so a sign. So remember, concept summary, annual marketing budget, then get into those marketing techniques. So we're going to have a sign out front.
Perfect. So then, if I'm going to stop sharing your screen and I'm going to share my screen right now. Because on this slide, which will be on the main page, there's this link right here. And it's called Vistaprint. And this is a great resource for you guys to use in order to see the type of marketing tools that you can do. So Samantha, you said a sign. There are signs here. You can do a, let's see, trade show. I want to do trade show. Ooh, outdoor signs. Never mind. I changed my mind. I saw outdoor sign. Chalkboard sign. I want to see this. Oh, look at that. You can do a nice little chalkboard sign if you felt like it. How cute is that? You can put the quantity. How many do you want? I want 2. Maybe I have 2 entrances to my place. I want to have 2. I'm going to put my specials on here. I can do my daily specials on this chalkboard sign. Just remember that du jour means today. I worked at a place where they put today's soup du jour, which translates to today's soup today. So don't do that. Remember that aspect. And it gives you the price, how much it's going to cost you for 2 of them. You can do, my favorite are the car magnets and car decals. And I absolutely love these magnets because you can take them on and off as you please. And they have different sizes. So if I want to do the 18 by 12, and of course I'm going to want like 2 of them, 1 for each side. But I will say this, and it's only $60, and that fits into your marketing budget, right? $60, that fits in. That's awesome. I will say this though, because my husband is in real estate, and Chef Jonathan's probably going to be laughing here in a sec too, because he's heard this story. Because he's in real estate, we have looked at like, oh, maybe we should get decals, like these magnet decals. These will be really great. But do remember, you have to be a good driver to have these type of decals, because if you're a bad driver and you put these decals on there, people know who you are and they will now call you and say, hey, you cut me off. One person that he actually works with has the decal that's on his window, and it's on the very bottom of the window. And so if he's not like, if he's being a horrible driver, that real estate agent will roll down his window just enough so you do not see the decal, and so people do not know who he is. And I looked at my dear husband, who I love dearly, and I'm from Massachusetts, so I know bad driving, but he's also grew up on the West Coast, so you know, he does that whole like, here's 5 lanes of like traffic, let's go from here all the way over here to 10 seconds, you know. And people in Colorado aren't used to that. Every day Sunday. And I was like, hun, I'm like, if you get that type of decal, because he was looking at that one too, I'm like, I am going to be cold all the time because you're just going to have to drive around with your windows down like every day, and I'm going to be freezing, and I do not want to be that cold in the middle of winter, like, because you're not that great of a driver. So remember things like that when you're looking at your marketing tools and techniques. What's going to be the best for you? So maybe decals, if you're not a great driver, you tend to cut people off, don't do a decal for your car. Do something else. But you can go to, I like the LOLs in the chat right now because it's true. But you can go to this website and it gives you a whole slew of things that you can choose. Maybe you want to do magnets. Maybe you want to have stickers. You're going to do clothing, like you're going to do t-shirts. It'll show you what those prices are going to be for your, let's say kid t-shirt. And it'll show you what your prices are going to be. One is $11. What if I did 500? That's going to be $5,249. And that's not even me starting the full design. So think of those things when you're going through this awesome website where you can legit do all of your techniques off of this website. Am I right, Chef?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely encourage doing as much research as you can, but there's a huge variety of different ways to market your business on that Vistaprint website. And so that can kind of be a one-stop shop for your research for the week if you want to go that way. And while we've been talking, I've been typing up those chalkboard signs for this first one. Notice a couple things that we talked about here. We're specific about how many signs, where we got that information from, how much it's going to cost, why we chose this one. There's a lot of foot traffic in the area. That is why I chose that chalkboard sign. It's going to reach a lot of people because I'm in an area where there's a bunch of foot traffic. If I'm in the middle of some warehouse district and I'm a catering company and I stick a chalkboard sign out front, nobody's going to come in ever because nobody's walking around. So you're going to want to think about what your concept summary is and where that's really going to put you. Think about where you want to be as well. And then talk about how you're going to utilize that well. So that kind of hits all those different points. How much it's going to cost, how you're going to use it, why you're going to use it, and what it is in the first place.
So what other techniques do you guys think are out there? What else would you want to do? What do you guys want to do for your business? What have you seen that works for you? What do you think, Gertrude?
I once, like 2 weeks ago, I made some flyers and posted them on Facebook, on my Facebook page. And it was a good, tremendous response. And I wanted to see what's going to happen if people are going to respond. And they were calling me. Like, remember I said I wanted to do food delivery? Oh my gosh, it was crazy.
Well, and Gertrude, you brought up a great point because like getting out there, doing that type of stuff is great social media, but how long did it take you to make those fries?
The flyers?
Yeah.
Well, I paid a guy who did it for $40.
Okay, so you did $40 and then you had to take those photos, right?
What I did, he sent me that I have to print it, but I didn't print it because I didn't have that much money. So I only posted the picture that he sent to me.
But that's great because you paid somebody to help take the photos. You have to pay somebody to make the stuff. You have to pay for those ingredients that you used towards that picture. You have to post it. You have to respond to people's likes or dislikes.
Yes.
And it's another great opportunity to remember that there are so many different possibilities out in this industry for you. Like my friend's a food stylist, and so she does magazine shoots and videos and all that stuff for places like Outback Steakhouse and Kraft, and a lot of time and effort goes into those photos because they want them to be as perfect as possible. So she will be there with like little tweezers putting on the perfect amount of sesames on the buns and all this stuff, and she goes through a lot of product to make it as perfect as possible for that one photo.
Wow.
So remember like the amount of time it takes to do that, how much it costs. If you guys decide, well, I'm going to give away specials, I'm going to do little tasters. Those tasters, you had to make those. The hours you spent making them, the products that you used, because you didn't sell them, you're giving them away for free. So you have to put that all into that paragraph that Chef Jonathan wants for your assignment for that marketing technique.
Oh, okay.
So, but that's a perfect one. You can do that, and that's fantastic. You can talk about, yeah, I'm going to post this. It's going to be great. And it brings up an excellent point too, where people, you cannot just rely on word of mouth. Word of mouth is not a technique that you can use here because you don't have control over it. You do not have control over what somebody says about your establishment. They can write a great review, they can write a bad review. And for this, you want to have control. You want to know what techniques are going to work that you have control over. Great example is the Kardashians. And God, which one was it? Was it Khloe Kardashian who wrote, she like had a Snapchat account. She wrote how much like she did one tweet that was like, Snapchat, like you're like, I don't like the new platform. It doesn't work as well. And that stock plummeted by billions. Like with like as soon as she instantaneously sent that tweet out, that stock went down by billions. And then she had to go quickly on, I'm guessing because her lawyers are like, you need to say something nice right now so they don't get so then she had to go back on and be like, still love you, you know, to try to help save it. So you don't want to just rely on that person, because what if they absolutely loved it one day, and then another day they were like, it was horrible, and there goes your sales. So that's where it's really important to not rely on word of mouth. That also includes, I'm blanking now. What was it? Doesn't include
bloggers and food critics.
Thank you. Yes.
Definitely included in word of mouth. These are people who are going to come in of their own volition, have your food, and it's part of their business and their job to write about your business. Some people really get a large following by being nasty, nasty people. And you have no control over what they're going to say if you get them in your door. What you can control is your staff and the level of service that you're providing. But at the end of the day, people can say whatever they want to. And so word of mouth, critics, bloggers, these are not going to be good marketing techniques for this assignment.
Not at all. So remember that when you're going through this technique, or all the techniques. So what else do you guys think you could do? What else do you guys see that gets you into establishments?
Create an event whereby you do testers.
Yeah, those testers, you can do events like trade shows and stuff. But remember, like if you do those type of events, that also costs money. Like you have to set up the tables, you have to set up the booths, you have to have the decor. I remember my very first wedding event, like trade show thing, and I was definitely like not prepared because I was like, oh, I'm like, I can't just be a table with like brochures. They want samples. They want to see how, like, you have to create the environment of what their wedding could potentially be at your table.
Yeah, that.
So that's where it's really important to like think about all the decor you have to go, how much gas it's going to cost you to be there. You're going to need help at that trade show because trust me, it is at least a 2-person job when you do those things, because you're going to have people like, you can't just, people are not just going to wait in line to talk to you. You want to have extra people there so that they can also talk about the business, that kind of thing. Am I right?
You are. I love this. This is such a fantastic marketing technique because you're putting your product in people's hands, but I tend to gravitate more towards the outdoor events to market the restaurants that I've been working with. So like these big, huge music festival things that have all these tents and things. Well, now you need to get a tent. You need to get flyers. You need to get tablecloths. You need to get the chafers and Cambros to bring your food around in and keep it hot or cold in. You need the food itself. You need to prep the food. You need to cook the food. You need to sell the food. You need to have a generator or propane, or there's a lot that goes into executing this well. And you want this to be your product served as best as you can, because this is you putting your product in people's hands and saying, come buy this at my restaurant. Every day, every week, those regulars keep your doors open. It's fantastic. But if you don't execute it well, then they're going to be like, wow, that meatball tasted not like meat. I'm never going to go anywhere near them. And it's because you have this outdoor different environment that you weren't prepared for. So you want to be really careful.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that where like they have the event called The Taste here, and they actually tried to do like a celebrity like cook-off, which went great for my friend who does a fabulous job with food and did a beautiful like buffalo short rib, and it was beautiful and delicious, going up against the guy who did sexy stir fry, which was tough and chewy, and it didn't look sexy because he store bought all the vegetables, so they were little star carrots, like shaped as stars. I know, so it was not good. So that's where you can have it be super great, like how my friend did, or it can go really bad, like how it did for that other guy. But also remember, this is the type of thing, like how many times are you going to do this? How many festivals go through your town? Is this just going to be a special that you're going to do during the holiday season? Or is this something that happens a lot during the summertime? So say how many times. You don't have to do it every single weekend. I would do at least 2 trade shows a year. I would do one in like the spring in January, and I would do one around the fall, like when stuff was happening. So you can pick and choose how many times you want to do it. So remember that when you're looking at your different techniques, it doesn't have to be every single day, but you need to be smart about it. This is especially true for those who decided, well, I want to do a commercial. Commercials are expensive. Radio ads, those can be expensive. Am I right, Jeff?
Yes, and I'm so glad you brought this up, because the assignment asks for a paragraph. But the more complicated your marketing is to explain, the more you're going to have to write. 5 sentences is not going to cut it with a TV ad, because you have to talk about the people shooting, like the camera person. You have to talk about the production people who set up the lights and the room that you're shooting in. You need to talk about your time. Any product that you're going to have in that commercial, you're going to have to pay somebody to write the commercial. You're going to have to pay for the airtime. A lot of times you're paying for each 30-second bit of airtime, and you got to make that last throughout the entire year. So you got to talk about how often you're going to run that 30-second ad. You're going to have to talk about the pricing on that, because pricing is going to be different at 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon than it is at 2 a.m. So
Yeah,
there's a lot to talk about with TV, and it's extremely expensive. So please do keep that in mind.
well, and especially because, I mean, you can say like, oh, I got a great deal on my ad, but it's going to run at 2 a.m. Is your target market really going to be up at 2 a.m. watching your commercial on the correct station that you want them to be on? Because think about it. How many times do you guys see a Pepsi commercial? Anybody? Pepsi, Coke, Mountain Dew, Sprite, any of those? They're like nonstop. It keeps on going. It's like every break, there's Mountain Dew, there's Pepsi, like it is nonstop. So you can't just say, I'm gonna have a TV ad that runs one time. Those ones, they keep it going. They keep going throughout the day. And they're paying a lot of money for that to reach their target market. So remember how many times a day you have to do it. Now you can say, I'm going to run a radio ad during the holiday season, or if something's happening, that's fine. But also consider, is it an actual like legit radio ad with a jingle that you're gonna come up with? Or is it gonna be like a shout out from a DJ? Like, which one are you going to do? Am I right, Chef?
You are. I do just want to bring up something Gertrude said in the chat, which is Facebook commercials. And so I think you're talking about ads on Facebook that you actually pay for that'll pop up on other people's Facebook pages. All of these social media platforms have those, and a lot of times you're going to be paying by the click.
Yeah.
You could have 1,000 clicks and never see anybody come in, because
I did that. Very expensive.
yeah, so it can be really tough to really hit your target market with that.
I had to stop it.
Yeah.
I
So
had to stop it.
because who cares if you click, right?
Yeah.
You're not having to sit through a 30-second.
And I never had any client coming from there.
And that's kind of the same thing too when you think of like those coupons like Living Social and Groupon and everything. You really have to determine, is this going to be the best thing for your business? Because there are businesses that did that buy one get one free, and they are out of business because they didn't do the numbers. They didn't make certain to put a cap on it, or they didn't actually factor in the fact that not only are you paying for that one, like that, donut that you're giving away, but now a percentage every time somebody buys that coupon on one of those web pages, 30% of that goes to that website, that hosting website. So that Groupon, that Living Social, like they're getting 30% of that. So they're getting a high percentage. So you even have even less than what you think you're going to have, where you're like, oh, I have $5 coming in, but you don't have $5 coming in. You have less than that because you had to put that advertisement together. You had to give away the donut. You had to pay the other people to do the hosting and everything. Mm-hmm. So remember, there's a lot of that goes into that, which is why it's really important to understand and really research the numbers and what's really going to work for you. Now, does that make sense for everybody?
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions about different advertising techniques?
I've tried email marketing. What do you think about it?
Wait, say that again. What was it? Marketing or mag?
Email marketing.
Yep.
Like,
Oh, and that brings up another thing. Your website doesn't have to, like, websites take money to set up. You have to pay for the domain. You have to pay to set up the website itself. I will say, there are a variety of different ones that you can use to set that up. You also have to pay if you're going to do like an online store, you have to pay for whatever type of like POS system that's going to be linked to your actual website.
Mm-hmm.
Because it can and you want to make certain that it matches, because some of those like reservation links or POS systems, that actually takes it to a different website, and you really want to make certain that your website and that reservation link match, so people don't think that they were just taken to somewhere in someone in like Antarctica who is stealing their money or anything like that.
Yeah.
Website, super important. Email marketing, really cool if it's effective, really terrible if it's not, because spam filters catch a lot. And they very well might catch your email blast that you're paying somebody to send out. So you're going to want to make sure to have some way of collecting email addresses from people who actually want to hear from you and will not block your company's domain as spam.
And it's super important that you don't just take your entire client list and then do one massive email where everybody sees everybody else's email addresses. That's a big no-no. Do not do that. You will be in trouble. Everybody will not like you. Remember that too. And typically I have seen it where if you are not a website guru, you're not good at setting that up or understanding, you can pay people to do it, and that's fine. And you can say, I'm going to pay somebody this amount to do it, but be realistic with how much you're going to pay people. You can't just say, I'm going to have so-and-so set up my website for $10. Because it costs actually around $5,000 to really set everything up for your website. And that's like a base average is about $5,000.
You're also going to want to think about making sure it's mobile friendly when you get a website set up, because so many people look up restaurants and places to eat on their phones. Food trucks, I am not going to chase down your food truck if I can't find you on my phone, because I'm now trying to find a moving target. This is not going to work for me. So you want to make sure it's a mobile friendly website, and that's a whole nother thing, which is why a professional who really knows what they're doing can be a really good thing for a website, because they can help you to get things set up, like getting your menu on there so that you can pull it up on a phone, making sure that your whole website is really visible no matter what platform is being used to view it. I will pull up websites and I'm like, hey, I've heard of this restaurant, and pull it up and I can't see anything. And I'm out and about and I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going there. And I look at the next restaurant. So things to keep in mind with your website.
Yeah, and on this page, there are a few examples for you guys to look at where they have a nice website. They have a great reservation or Instagram account and everything. And the pictures look nice and clean and something to think of. And look, this is that, Father's Day's coming up. They have it popped up right here. Treat dad to this piece on Father's Day. Like, they have this all right here that you can do. And you can scroll down and it's nice and it's clean. So I gave these links in this slide here just so you guys can see different aspects of what the competition's looking like and what will work, what you can and cannot do. And they have their Instagram account. and see how everything is linked together. It's important to remember to always link everything together so that you bring everybody back to your website. So, see, isn't that nice? It's ta-da, all nice, pretty. People are happy. They're eating. They love it, that kind of thing. So, and that being said, remember your week 5 assignment is due on Tuesday. Makeup assignments are due by Tuesday. Get your week 4 assignments, late submissions in tonight. Get those points because this is the last time this class is ever being offered. So let's keep everybody on track. Let's get you to your next class. It'll be awesome. And remember that I'm just a text message or a phone call away. And I am here to help, and we want you guys to succeed. So be certain to reach out if you need help, but get your stuff in on time because all makeup assignments are due on Tuesday, and that's it. So remember that. And your discussions are due. Do your discussion. They're fun. I enjoy this one. I'm super excited about this discussion. And does anybody have any questions? I see nope, nope. All right, well, I hope everybody had a great time. I'm looking forward to seeing how everybody's gonna do on their assignments for this week. It's gonna be fun, and for their discussions. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I hope everybody has a fabulous week. Remember to plan ahead because week 6 is a short week. And I hope everybody has a fabulous, fabulous night.
Thank you, chefs. Have a good night.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Thank you and have a blessed week.
Thanks.